Coming to you live from the jam-packed IKEA parking lot, where our stomach is jam-packed full of Swedish meatballs and our trunk is jam-packed full of TVs, couches that may or may not fit our living room. Today on the All In Podcast, we're diving into the world of crazy, big, and perhaps unnecessary purchases. We're going to break down how to tell a need from a want, and some absolutely legendary times that Clayton got it horribly wrong. We're going to share our insider tips on how to spend more money, but also convince ourselves that we're spending less money through credit card points, through maybe even Zen rewards. And then we're going to circle up on settling a heated debate once and for all. Do guys really need a man cave? Buckle up your shopping cart, flatbed, or your Ford F-150, because this is the All In Podcast. Bada bing, bada boom. Bing, bada bing, bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. It's just good to be at the table with you fellas. Today I want to hit lead off for us with just a great opening question. Give me your first big purchase. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the size of the thing you bought, but maybe just the size of the check you wrote to get the thing. And
do we really write checks anymore?
I do. Oh, for certain purchases off the books.
Well, isn't that the definition of on the books?
Well, it's
on the checkbook.
It's like when you want to buy something and you don't want your wife to know, you either Venmo or you take it out through the ATM.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, there's a $400 withdrawal.
Look, just cash, baby.
Just cash. Yeah.
I just need some cash.
Just a cash guy. Jose B, can you hit for us?
What was my first big purchase? Oh, man. I want to say, at least off the top of my head, this one was one of the first ones that hit. And I think you guys are going to have better... things to add to this just because you guys got married earlier in life than I did. And I was living on a college campus, not necessarily needing to make big purchases. But right before my wife and I got married and I moved into the house that we were both going to live in, I bought a mattress. And
first
mattress I've purchased myself because I still had the one that my parents bought me in high school.
It's kind of a crazy moment, actually.
It was pretty intense.
Where'd you get it?
I waited for the second, second
sale
run through of Amazon Prime Day that they do now, one in October. And I mean, I did months and months of research into the best mattresses and what to get. I asked all my friends. So you guys probably remember me asking y'all on what size of bed you got, right? I think you have a famous.
Well, we used to have a double, and then we finally upgraded to a queen.
That's insane.
And my wife is.
You guys have a queen now?
Yeah, I have a queen now.
That's insane.
Which is a little tight when you have a pregnant wife, a 4-year-old sleeping in your bed, and then me.
Absolutely. So my wife and I knew from the get, was like, we want to get a king bed. I'm also, larger person, and so I just did a lot of research, and I finally bought this mattress. I think I got it for $900.
Did you lay on it first? Or did you buy
it? No, I
bought it online,
to the house. Delivered to the house in a box.
Was it one of those that pops out?
Yeah.
I've always wanted one of those.
And once you get it out, you can't put it back in. You're like, free returns. I'm like, how am I supposed to return this? Free returns. All right. But thankfully, I mean, it's an amazing mattress. We love it. We still have it. It's only been a little over a year. But that was the first one that I was like, man, this is what being an adult is like. I have to buy beds.
Right.
And this bed, I think, is normally $2,200.
Wow,
and I got it for $900. A great deal.
You got a good deal.
Great deal. I was very excited.
At what point do you go for the bed that moves up and down, has a temperature setting?
I thought you meant the one that goes into the wall.
No, Murphy. Wait, actually, let's keep going. Clayton.
Well, speaking of good deals, my first big purchase was a 2016 Toyota RAV4 with 65,000 miles on it.
Great vehicle.
Wow. About 5 weeks before the birth of my first child, we got in a car accident. Well, really, my brother-in-law was driving the car, totaled the car. I've told this story before, but we needed a car because my Camry has never had AC in it, and I couldn't take my newborn son home in the hospital.
Still doesn't have AC.
Hospital. Still does not have air conditioning. And we needed a car to drive him home with. And so, I mean, we were married for 8 months at this point. We had Joseph 9 months after we got married. So we didn't have a whole lot of money, and we're saving up for, you know, the hospital bill, just like having a newborn. So we're kind of like, we're stressed, you know? And so we find this used Toyota RAV4 about 2 hours away at this dealership, and we go, and it's listed for like $16,000 or something like that.
Which you can't find that anymore.
No, you can't. That's impossible.
I think
That's
right now,
impossible.
2016 RAV4 for 60,000 miles is probably going for $30,000.
Yeah, you
30.
could invest in those things right now. So, and the absolute max that we wanted to pay was like $13,500. I mean, it was like every penny that I had to my name, essentially. And
I love this story, by the way. This is a
we
great
go
story.
we go into the dealership, and I'm like, I want this car. We drive it around. We're like, okay, you know, this is the dollar amount that we can pay. And the guy looks at me. He's like, there's absolutely no way that we can do that. He goes, but he does the whole thing where he's like, I'll go talk to the manager or whatever. So he goes and talks to the manager. He comes back. He's like, all right, you know, here's what we're doing for you. Like, blah, blah. We're cutting this, you know, blah, blah. We can bring it down. The max we can bring it down is $500. And I'm like, I can't. This is the max amount that I can pay. And so he's like, all right, let me go talk to the manager. So he goes back to the manager. I'm sitting there talking to my wife. And I'm like, we got to do something here. So he comes back. He does this whole spiel. He's like, all right, we knocked it down another $400. And I had pulled open my Chase checking account on my phone. And I slid it across the table, and I said, sir, this is every penny that I have to my name right now. My wife is 8 months pregnant, and I need a car to take my newborn son home in from the hospital. And he goes, I'm a father. You moved me, bro. You got it. So we drove home in that thing, and I felt like I felt like the richest man in the
driving
world.
home a Mercedes, right? Oh, that's incredible.
So funny. Which, hey, not to knock on, I drove my firstborn son back from the hospital in a car with no AC.
Well,
So,
hey, you know, some things have to be done.
Yeah.
Some of us went to private school. Some of us did it. I actually, the car example, I think is actually a great example. I got a good priest friend of mine. So I live here in Colorado, and he says the sin of Coloradans is that we have car-olatry. So what he talks about is like everyone in Colorado has these jacked up 4Runners. Like if you have a car that can't four-wheel over a mountain pass, you shouldn't live in Colorado. Subarus, you know, Tacomas, Tundras, and everything's jacked up, and people are obsessed with their cars. Like kind of weirdly obsessed, like takes pictures with it, has its own account on Instagram. He's like, it's car-olatry. And I think the whole car-olatry bit is a good example of like want versus need. Because these people convince themselves, right? Oh, my car's, you know, it's a 2010. Like it's basically a dinosaur. I need a new car. When in reality, you don't. It takes you from point A to point B. Doesn't matter if it's a Pontiac Grand Am or a, you know, brand new Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Raptor with all the bells and whistles. So as you guys look at, I mean, we're all dads here. We're managing our finances as best we can. What's a want and what's a need, and how the heck do we figure out the difference?
Well, I'll tell you what, whenever I was living in Denver for 3 months, I definitely felt like getting a car that could four-wheel over the mountains was a need.
Oh, 100%.
I was so scared to drive in the
First time
snow.
it snowed,
I had a
Jose was
20
like, can you come pick me up from
I
my
had a
house?
2014 Ford Escape. I still have it. It's the one that has no AC. And the furthest north I had lived in before moving to Denver was South Carolina. And so just seeing snow, I had seen snow for vacation. But you think I'm going to drive in that?
It was like,
What am I supposed to
the most
do?
basic dusting of all time.
I was scared
Jose
in my
texts
mind.
me, he's like, work's canceled, right?
It's like we're working from home today, right? I was so
Snowed
scared. So I
a
definitely
quarter
thought
of
that
an
was a
inch.
need.
Yeah.
I am. I'll let you answer the question, Clay. But I am king of convincing myself that my wants are needs.
Which I think it's actually a great point. Yeah.
But what do you think?
I think it's kind of hard to distinguish, because I think just in our culture in general, to your point about the car-olatry, is that wants and needs have been, you know, mistaken for each other. So for instance, I mean, back to the car thing, we moved out here to Colorado and drive up the mountain every day to get to work in my 2008 Toyota Camry, which does not have AC, which wasn't as bad living in Colorado versus Texas, but my windshield wiper fluid tank broke. So like, My windshield wiper still worked, but the fluid tank where you spray it on to, wipe everything off.
It is a miracle that you're still alive after driving that car for so long.
Yes. It broke.
Tell about having to fill up your Nalgene.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I would bring every time I would go to work, because when it snows, the snow gets really dirty and then the car is driving, and then it kicks up on your windshield and you have to wipe it off. But I would use my windshield wipers, and all it would do is just kind of like move the mud around, And so then you're driving up the mountain and you're heading towards the sun. And so then you're kind of like, looking through the windshield in between the mud. So I would have to, anytime it snowed and there was all that dirt like that, I have to pull over on the side of the road, take out my water bottle and pour it over the front of my car, which you're not really supposed to do in the first place. And then use that. And I would stop like every 10 minutes to like clean it off and then keep going. And so in that sense, you could make an argument that the windshield wiper fluid tank was a need, which I think it probably was, but I also made it work, and I think that's probably, a question that we have to ask ourselves a lot is like, yeah, your life could be a lot more convenient. Should I have gotten a new tank sooner than I did, which I did replace it, by the way? Yes, but I was able to survive without it.
I think it's want versus need tends to be a generational thing, because I think our generation would lean towards you convince yourself, like you said, Jose, of the want turning into a need, where like our parents' generation, especially our grandparents' generation, it's like if your pants have a hole in it, you don't need new pants. You just need a patch. If your shoes are falling apart, you don't need new shoes. You just need duct tape.
Which just get into like the quality of things nowadays. Everything is built low quality.
That's also fair
to break. But to that point, I think also what I do and what I'm assuming y'all and some of our listeners do is I have a need, and then I try to sneak in as many wants as I can into that need.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Give me an example.
Okay, so I had a computer from college. It was just a normal Mac, 2015.
Yep.
And it was starting to break. And I was like, okay, and maybe this is already a stretch, but we need a computer, right, for the house. Like it's this laptop that I'm currently holding that I can use, that my wife can use. It's just like a computer that we have. So instead of looking at a cheap Google book, Chromebook, whatever they call them, Lenovo, I'm like, so we need a computer. But I kind of want the new MacBook M4s Pro.
Yeah.
Which you didn't
with
really know
a
what
terabyte of storage, and 16 gigabytes of RAM. I have no idea what that means.
No.
And I don't need it. I had a friend that was roasting me for it. He was like, why did you get that one?
How much was it? If you don't mind me asking.
Now, I did score a nice deal, and this is how I convinced myself, right? Of like, oh, this is how I'm trying to sneak all these wants into my need, right? I have a want for a nice computer, but I don't have a need for a nice computer. I have a need for a computer in general. Yeah. I have a want for Apple products because I'm a sucker for consumerism.
You never know when you're going to get into videography and photography.
And I'm going to be running Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop and
hardcore
iMovie and Python.
Intense computer
games. Running games. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, I sneak all these wants into my needs. I'm like, it would be nice to have a computer with a screen that could show YouTube videos in 4K. Oh.
It's a need.
That fits into this need. And so,
keep
going. I get into the story of this MacBook, but I think the original MacBook was like $2,800. And I had my old Mac, and it was just like Apple every so often does like, it's like, hey, this week or this month, whatever, we'll give you extra for your trade-ins. Mm. So I lined it up with that, and then I lined it up with my credit card points.
That's stellar.
That I only paid, I think, $800 for this computer.
You dog.
It's pretty good. So, and that's where I'm like, I sneak my want into my need, and then I find it so in a way that I only pay as much as like the cheap version, and that's how I convince myself, like, even though if I would have done this same like thing for the cheap version, I would have gotten it for free, for sure. But now I'm like, well, it's free $800 that I was going to spend on something else.
I think there's something about, I would define a need as something that would help me elevate my life to achieve a purpose that I have. So
like videography.
The computer, great example, right? define want. A want is something that doesn't help me achieve my purpose. Smart people would say maybe your telos, your end. But it is something that I have a inclination towards that maybe fills a gap that doesn't necessarily need to be filled by that thing. It's a little wordy, but would you add to that at all?
Well, you're reminding me of St. Ignatius's first principle.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And so to not prefer, riches to poverty, and to use the things of this world insofar as they help us to achieve our end, and to rid ourselves of them insofar as they don't help us. But I think the question still at hand is like, what we're saying is you can make an argument for a lot of things that, I can look at a lot of things and say, I can see my telos in that, I know that's going to help me achieve my telos. Yeah, exactly. I need them. So
I think like our friends, especially like us three, we're the type of guys that are just obsessed with what my wife would call like gadgets. We're like kind of gadget guys.
For sure.
I mean, me and Clayton both are rocking a Garmin smartwatch and a Whoop on each wrist. There's $500 worth of watch on our wrist right now.
Private school.
Or clothing, certain clothing lines, the AirPod Maxes that Clayton just got, his walking treadmill that he just got, his giant desk that moves, up and down unnecessarily.
To be fair,
I think my favorite thing about something that the three of us do is when we convince ourselves that our wants are actually a need. We're not satisfied with just convincing ourselves.
So true.
We have to convince everyone around us.
Every other person, you need this.
You know how many phone calls I've gotten from Clayton in the past 6 months about getting an iPad mini, about getting AirPod Maxes, about getting a Whoop, about getting a certain treadmill.
It's so true.
Getting the right hook to hang from your desk so you can put your backpack on.
If you need it, it makes me feel a lot better when I'm talking to my wife about my unnecessary purchase. Like, well, it's not only me.
Hey, Clayton and John Michael are
There's
also doing
15 other guys that unnecessarily bought this as well. Another bit that I think, our friends have, and I think a lot of like guy groups have, is there's always the one guy with the crappy car.
Yeah.
And everyone knows who that guy is. You've never ridden with him. You've never been in his car. He's never offered to drive. And let me tell you, that person is Clayton Ward Caldwell. Clayton, for our listeners, just to loop you into the lore of the friendship, has owned a hybrid Toyota Camry.
What year is that?
2008.
It's like hybrid to the point of where it's not hybrid because it was built in 08. There's nothing hybrid about it.
There's no battery in there.
It's hybrid because it dies and Clayton has to push it and doesn't use gas. But he's had this beater of a car ever since I've known him.
Not a beater.
It's the definition of a beater.
I read an article recently saying that the 2008 Toyota Camry was the greatest car ever built.
I would agree with that. I actually say the Toyota Camry, especially 2008 line, not a beater car, but in the state that you have it in, it is a beater.
The thing looks like you took it out of a salvage yard after someone used it as their protection in a paintball war.
Okay, I will say the worst part, the two things that make it not great. Well, three things. One, AC. We already touched on that. It's never had air conditioning. Second is that all the paint is like starting to chip, and it's a black car, but it's like a faded black car at the same time.
It's a special edition.
And then the fabric on the roof in the back is like so it's like duct tape, back on there. But the worst was that I live in Texas. It gets really hot down there. My dashboard, like the front dash, got recalled in the last probably like four years ago, which I don't know why it took so long from 2008 to 2021
still making recalls
to recall
on
this
that.
thing. Maybe it was just because it starts happening later in the car's life, but the dashboard, when it gets really hot, starts to literally melt. And so they recalled the dashboard, and I didn't hear about the recall, and so I still have it. But literally the dashboard during the summer, when it gets really hot outside, it almost becomes like liquid. So like if you touch it, if you touch the dash, your hand ends up with like all of this sticky stuff all over it, and then you put a paper up there, and the paper is
there's all these dead flies.
It becomes part of the
There's
car.
all these dead flies that were melted in his dashboard. Like in college, everyone was always like, "Does Clayton know how to drive?" Because no one ever saw him drive.
Yeah. That's true. I only saw you in bikes and in other people's cars.
Yeah. So to our listeners, send this to your boy with the absolute beater of a car, make sure he tunes in.
I'd love to know, where do people hear about car recalls?
Well, so we just got one recently, and if your car is registered in your name, like the VIN number and everything, the manufacturer will send you a letter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But at the time that I had the recall, it was originally my dad's car, so and he, it was, the insurance was on my name, but it was registered to my dad, so he got it and I didn't hear about it. So I still have a sticky dashboard.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great example of someone who has a need but has convinced himself that it's not a need. Yeah. Hey, what's going on, guys? This is John Michael Lucido, and I am the main host of the All In podcast, brought to you by Focus. And I just want to take a second to personally invite you to join us at Seek 26. Seek 26, January the 1st through January 5th. We are going to be in 3 locations. That's how big Seek has gotten. I'm going to be the main stage MC hosting our conference in Columbus, Ohio. Our other main host of the podcast, Jose and Clayton, will be down in Fort Worth, Texas, and then we'll have our 3rd location in Denver, Colorado, January the 1st through January 5th. You are not going to want to miss this. The link to register is in the description. Can't wait to see you guys. Let's go all in on Seek 26. So moving forward here, when you have a need or when you have a want that you've convinced yourself as a need, where do you go to find great deals? So just a bit on this, my wife recently got Walmart Plus. If you're not familiar with Walmart Plus, it's how Walmart has now marketed themselves to white women. And here's how it goes. You can buy anything from Walmart, it's shipped to your door within an hour or 2. Horrible for my budget. Because you're cooking and you're like, I need an onion. Boom. Onion.
Walmart Plus.
Oh, we need chips. We're having tacos. Boom. So I'll tell you, that is a way to not get good deals, because she blew through our grocery budget in like 2.5 weeks. I immediately canceled our Walmart Plus. But I mean, Facebook Marketplace.
For sure. Love
Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist, a little terrifying, a little risky.
I'm scared of Craigslist. Is it still a thing?
It's still around.
I remember when it was a big thing when we were in like high school, college.
It was developed, by their code has not been touched since like 1998.
It's like the Nokia.
It does. It looks like
it's still around.
Yes.
What any kind of good stories, good moments of like nailing an awesome deal?
Clayton, I feel like you have some good stuff here.
We use Facebook Marketplace quite a bit. I'm trying to think. Recently, I had a need for a lot more new work shirts. There's a really popular brand of button downs called Mizzen and Main.
We would love a sponsorship if you're listening.
We love Mizzen and Main. And I had 2 Mizzen and Main shirts, which you gave them both to me because someone else gave them to you.
Yeah, right.
And so they fit me. And so I was in need of a couple more new work shirts, and I was like, they're insanely.
Yeah, it's about 150 a pop.
I just shirt. Like.
It feels like a athletic tee.
Yeah, it feels amazing.
I mean, they're amazing. And, I probably need, 3 to 4 of them. And it's like, I'm not going to go spend several $100s on workers. But then I found them all on eBay, which I have literally never used eBay in my life. I don't know why.
For used clothing, it's amazing.
It was amazing. I literally got 6 shirts for like 6 Mizzen and Main shirts for like $90. And the thing is that I don't know how they do this. I don't know if maybe they're fake. I don't even know. But they were all still in the bag. Like they were brand new shirts. So I was pleased about that.
The idea of Facebook Marketplace, when you think about it, is really kind of weird. It's one of the only venues where you meet up with some random person and do a transaction.
Why do I feel safer though going on Facebook Marketplace than Craigslist?
It's all about the way the software has been developed.
The UI.
I recently, just the Facebook Marketplace, I just bought a mini fridge for my new office, which, let me just tell you, Facebook Marketplace has tons of mini fridges. People are just giving these things away. And it's just kind of awkward. You walk into some random person's house, you hand them a $25 bill. Like, oh yeah, looks great. Take it, put it in your car and drive away. And then you kind of have this weird moment of like, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Never see you again in my life. I have a mini fridge now. Who knows what's been in there? But the guy's name was actually Craig on Craigslist. So anyways, it's just kind of a funny idea.
Yeah, my wife is the queen of Facebook Marketplace in our area, I like to think, because the amount of times she would be at work, she'd text me like, hey, someone's picking this up. Can you just put it outside? They're paid.
You're like, what'd you sell?
I'm like, sure. Like, what? You move furniture by myself right now, like outside, and just leave it in the driveway for someone to pick up. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, I mean, if you want, they can come up and knock and you can meet them. I was like, no, that's even worse. You know,
That's great.
but it's just, it is such a funny thing. Like, hey, yeah, just leave the bed frame outside. Someone's going to pick it up.
Are you guys credit card points fans? So in terms of, we're talking scoring great deals.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most amazing deal you've hit with credit card points?
It's hard for me to gauge deals with credit card points. I love credit card points.
They're amazing. It's my favorite currency.
Because it gets into the point where isn't all of it a good deal because it's all free money?
But you had to spend money to get it.
Sure. But it was money I was already going to spend.
Yeah, this is what I've been telling my dad.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's an anti-credit card guy. And I'm like, you're already spending the money. And this is where Dave Ramsey's just flat out wrong. Like he does not understand the value of getting free flights to Cancun from Denver round trip. He says he's a financial guru.
I'd love to have him on the show to discuss
Has he ever
this.
stayed at Courtyard Marriott without spending $1?
Well, the whole argument there, and there's research to back this up, is that when you are using a credit card to buy things online, or when you're using a credit card to buy in store, you spend up to 20% more than you would with cash. Because there's something
never once happened to me.
Have you ever gone to? We've got families, so your weekly grocery bill is like $250 a month or a week, or more if you're going to different places. But if you go to a store and you have to count out 20, it's just different than just swiping the card. So all the studies are saying that you spend a whole lot less. So I think that's his argument. But I will say,
how many credit cards do you have?
I've got 2 credit cards.
2?
I've got 2 credit cards. The
Just
Chase,
2?
The Chase Sapphire Preferred
Simple man.
and the Chase Freedom Unlimited.
Simple man.
It's the credit card partnering, which to your point, John Michael, we're going to Cancun here pretty soon. And my wife and I went to Cancun for our honeymoon. And we haven't been on a vacation together like that since we got married, coming up on 6 years. And so each year since then, I've talked about how I want to go back to Cancun for one of our anniversaries. And so I've been saving up my credit card points ever since. I have a personal goal to refer at least one person to my credit card per quarter.
Clayton is a shark when it comes to credit card referrals.
It's bad.
Here's the thing. I have referred at least 4 people to my credit card for every year for like the last 6 years.
I remember I was saving up for an engagement ring. And I knew there was this credit card that if I referred one more person, I would hit a bonus miles that I could use towards paying off a bill. Now, did I need it? No. But I was like, hey, it's free, right? And it would go towards like, maybe I can buy a bit nicer of a ring. And I was talking to someone about it, and they're like, oh, for sure, I'll use your referral code. I followed up with them a week later. They're like, sorry, Clayton sat me down and made me use his referral code, even though I told him it was going to go towards your engagement
Well, here's
ring.
the thing.
He didn't care because he wanted an iPad mini.
Well, no. Well, that's what I did use it for, but which the iPad mini was entirely on credit card points. And then this trip to Cancun, 5 days, round trip flights, completely covered by credit card. I mean, we're going entirely for free.
Yeah. I mean, same for our honeymoon. We got to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Round trip?
For 10 days, round trip. So all of our hotels and flights were covered. So I don't know if I got the best deal with like, I'm not that much into it, like what's the value of points you're getting for transfer part and stuff like that. But it was free. Like I didn't pay for these flights.
What's your
or for
credit
these
card
hotels.
stack right now?
I got a Chase Sapphire. Mm-hmm. I have a United
Reserve or preferred?
I reserve the right to not share.
Don't want to share your annual fees. It's
Yeah.
a good idea.
And a Capital One Venture. So the
Good
3
card.
I have, I'm thinking about cutting
Yeah.
the Capital One and downgrading the Chase one
Yep.
because they just switch their whole and increase their fees. But
Are you guys, I mean, you may or may not be nicotine users, or, you don't have to self-select to admit, but let's just say you were. In a world in which you use nicotine products, are you guys into the Zen rewards?
I think they're so funny.
So I just told my wife about this. And so basically for the non-users, listeners, Zen has like QR codes on the back of their products, and you scan the code and it goes into your reward system. And so for each can, it's like 15 points, 20 points, something like that.
I don't remember the value of cans.
I think it's 15 points.
Yeah.
But I was telling my wife about this, and she's like, "Oh, that's crazy." And she's like, "Well, what could you get?" So I showed her the Zen Rewards program.
You can get anything.
Let me just say that is a item that knows their target audience.
Yes.
It's like the rewards are like a Blackstone, a Traeger.
Well, it starts out with like
golf clubs,
a Zen hat.
Yeah, Zen hat.
They have like the what's it called, like the permanent Zen can.
Yeah, the metal
refillable one.
But it's like Clayton, like rangefinders, a new driver, tickets to Post Malone, like all of this stuff where it's like your target audience. You were screaming out, "This is our target audience!" And then the funniest part is they have like a Dyson vacuum cleaner and a curling iron. And my wife was like, "This is literally just here so that men can convince their wives that their addictive use of nicotine is going to benefit the family."
Positive, yeah.
So Emily's like, "Well, if you're going to use it, we might as well get the Dyson cordless vacuum cleaner with all of your usage."
Do they transfer 1-to-1 to United? They don't have travel partners.
It's just
They need
funny.
to.
It's just a great example of how we kind of convince ourselves that spending more money is saving us money in the long term. Emily did the math. The cordless vacuum cleaner cost about $250, $300. In Zen points, you have to spend $3,000 of Zen to get the vacuum cleaner. But I got it for free.
Yeah.
So it's worth it.
You did? You
No, not yet. I mean,
not yet.
3,000, that's going
wow.
to take me a few years.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, $3,000 worth of. Hey, but that's a need.
So, we're hitting Zens. A great place to use Zen could possibly be in a man cave. You guys ever been in like an incredible man cave?
Yes. Well, it's not my style, but it was definitely.
Like
I could appreciate what it was.
The man cave itself wasn't your
The
style,
man.
or you don't like
The man cave, yeah, the man
or
cave.
you
itself.
don't like man caves in general.
No, I don't mind the man cave if it works. This one was one of those that had. This was in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and it had every single sport memorabilia you could think of LSU, football, baseball. It was like an LSU theme with a little New Orleans Saints. People forget about the New Orleans Pelicans. And it was like, this is really cool, all the stuff you collected and like the way it's set up with the couches and the whiskey glasses, or everything's LSU. And it's cool.
Was it dark in there? Like man caves are kind of.
It was, I think it was a garage. So the doors were open. So, But it sounded like that it was really cool. You could tell a lot of care, thought, and money went into it. But I would never have that.
I think that man caves could potentially be sinful.
Really?
And here's why. The idea of the man cave, at least how it's defined in my mind in the dictionary of John Michael, is a man cave is about removing yourself from your family to go have alone time.
I agree.
That is problematic for men. For you to say, I need to remove myself from my kids, from my wife, it's called a man cave. It's exclusive by definition.
Do you not think that as a husband and father that you need to remove yourself sometimes?
How do you reconcile alone
Your
time?
need for alone time.
That's called the garage.
So
Remember that time I just described the man cave that was in a garage?
It's different though. I'm working on things. I'm bettering my lawn. I'm bettering my cabinets. A man cave, I'm just going to.
Well, I think you're well. Okay, so
Get away.
You're describing. So, my first thought is that the original man cave was the study room. Like you hear all these stories about, Benjamin Franklin going to retire
but
to
when
his
you
study.
say man cave, you don't think of a home office.
Well, I didn't say home office. I said study. And when I imagine a study, I imagine a big leather chair with a some fancy paintings on the wall. Maybe
Huge
a
bookshelves.
jersey. Yeah, big bookshelves, and then you have a desk
Mahogany.
and a sitting area, and it's a place for to go and to read, to study, if you will. Maybe just to smoke a cigar if you got the whole setup in your
Ventilation.
in your office there. So I think that that's probably where the original man cave came from, and what you're describing is a man cave, like maybe a more modern man cave where there's like 6 TVs on the wall. And
Fridge full of beer.
So
Poker
you're
tables
more of
where
a
you go.
traditionalist when it comes to man caves.
I'm a man
And
cave.
Joe Michaels is more of a modernist.
But then I also think there's probably some good to having a man cave, like you're having some people over, maybe a Bible study or something. Just have a separate room where like, hey, this is the room that I designed.
Can't you just do that in the living room of your own home?
Well, not all of us have multiple living rooms, Joe Michael. So
It's a parlor room, Jose. I've told you
to
this.
this point, I currently have a home office that my wife likes to call the man cave, right? Is it much of a man cave? No, it's just my computer desk.
You have one signed
bookshelf.
football in there, and it's all of a sudden it's a man
It
cave.
moved from an office to a man cave.
I have a painting of like the fingers touching on that Michelangelo creation painting, and then on the other side, that's in the background of my for my video calls.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the computers, I have a giant poster of Michael Jordan dunking.
Man cave.
And so it's nice when Mimi will be like, hey, I'm having some friends over to watch Dancing with the Stars. She's like, you're more than welcome to join us. I'm like, I don't want to join y'all, so I'll just go to my man cave and I'll either read or something. I'll watch Netflix.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's a man cave. But so I agree with you of what are we using it for? Am I using it to escape my kids? Right? Am I using it to escape my wife? Or am I using it as a necessary thing because the rest of the house is full with other things? Or because I just want to rest for a little bit?
Do you still maintain your position?
I think having a man cave to escape is sinful.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I don't define a man cave as an office or a study. Those are used.
So what do you define a man cave as?
Man cave is, sports memorabilia. It's, a picture of you and your fraternity buddies on the wall. There's got to be alcohol somewhere in the room. Could be in a refrigerator, could be in a bar type setting. And you are there to escape. As definition, that's man cave. Office, study, different things. I'm going to fill myself up. I'm going to form my mind potentially. I have a home office. I got a ton of books. And yes, do I go there to get away from my children?
Sometimes.
Potentially. But it's to form myself so that I can enter back into the family more calm, more patient. Actually, this is a quick story. So my home office, like the one place that the kids can't go into. I mean, they can go into it, but I have to be there, and they can't bring toys, no snacks.
Yep.
It's the only place in the house.
It's your man cave.
Last week, I walk in. My boys had taken expo markers, drawn all over my chair and all over my brand new rug, and I lost my you-know-what. I lost it. So anyways, if it was a man cave, I wouldn't have lost it, though, because, it's sinful.
Is it ruined? Were you able to clean it?
Yeah, Emily got some crazy carpet cleaner.
Yeah.
The green egg.
Yeah.
No, the green
machine.
The green
The
machine.
green egg, like the grill.
That's the grill.
Are you able to look back on that and laugh now? Or is it still kind of irky?
It give me another couple weeks. It was still pretty.
Maybe the next episode we'll jump back into that story.
So, as we've defined man caves as sinful, let's move to maybe on the virtue side here. You have to set up your dream, not man cave, but office. What pictures are you putting in there? What books are on the bookshelf? What does the desk setup look like? Let's go lightning round here. Clayton.
Desk setup is completely clean.
Nothing?
Minimalist.
But yeah, just kind of like minimalist vibes on the desk.
Minimalist.
Minimalist. But,
Minimalist.
And I my setup right now is like I try to keep things off my desk, but it's just so easy to just kind of
It's
collect.
so hard to keep it.
I'm like, minimalism is fake. There's no way. Like the amount of clutter that just kind of ends up on my desk.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. When you first asked the question, my immediate thought was the Michael Jordan image where he's like this. I think I would want the background, because the most important part for a home office is the setup behind you on the video camera.
Critical.
Yes, absolutely critical. And so the rest of the room could be horrible, but as long as you have the facade there of an incredible man cave office, if you will, and I'm thinking almost like a dark blue with some mood lighting up there.
Ooh.
You got to have a picture of the family. You got to have the picture of Dirk Nowitzki hoisting the 2011 NBA Finals trophy. And
worst team to ever win a championship.
Statistically, the worst team to ever win the NBA Finals. But
I think like the home office setup has to be kind of like this, where it's like virtue signaling the things that you like. So it's like not too much family.
Yes.
This is an
but
interesting
just
thing
enough.
That's great.
My wife and I talk about. My dream would be floor to ceiling bookshelves covered in books.
Right.
I like to read a lot. I think I average 40 to 60 books a year.
On
But it's
Kindle.
all on Kindle in audiobook. And so I have no copies of books. I have like random books that I've never read. And so it's like this thing of like, all right, well, I already read it on Kindle. I paid $4 for it. But now I kind of I want to go out and spend $25 on the hardcover book so I can have a bookshelf for the background of my home office so that people can know how much I've read. You know, that would be the dream.
I think the dream for us is, as we continue in our manhood and our masculinity, to just continue to live in the tension of, is it a want? Is it a need? Do we convince ourselves that our wants are actually our needs? Do we have a sinful man cave, or do we have a virtue building man cave? And so to our listeners, would love to hear your thoughts, would love to hear y'all wrestle with these ideas with your buddies, and you know, make fun of that guy who has the beater of a car, aka Clayton. This is the All In Podcast, and we are so grateful that you're listening.